Handy dandy notebook. Share my screen here. All right, you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Great.
No. Wait. Yes.
It's an agenda. All right, good. Please be advised that this open meeting may be broadcast live and will be recorded by WRPS for playback, www.wrpsrockland.com/TV and youtube.com/WRPS-Rockland. Motion to open today's meeting.
Motion.
Second.
On. Blank page here. Meet. And all those in favor of opening the meeting?
Aye.
Joe? Aye. Charlie, you're on mute.
Aye, Pete.
Joe.
Can you guys hear me? I'm having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we got you, Charlie.
All right, great, thanks.
You in favor of opening the meeting?
Yes, I'm in favor of opening the meeting, sorry.
Thank you. All right, meeting is open. So I'm going to pass over the minutes again, or recommend passing over the minutes. Every time I go to sit down and do these, I get pulled away. My goal going forward is to try to get at least 2 done per month so that we can catch up here. For that, anyone in the town listening, I believe all of our meetings over the last year are available on YouTube, so you can go back and watch if you're looking for something, but we do need to get back on these. And my apologies to the board for letting these flounder. In a motion to pass over.
Second.
If it gets too bad, I'll start taking photocopies of my handwritten notes. All right, roll call on that. Tom,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Charlie,
Yes, aye.
Pete,
Yeah, aye.
thank you. And myself as an aye. It's unanimous. Just catching up on the top of this. Pete, Charlie, and Joe. All right, town meeting discussion. Wanted to just kind of gauge, see who plans on being at town meeting on Monday. We have a couple of articles that I'll plan to speak to. I may be a little late getting there. So I'm looking to see who may be there that might be able to speak to, especially the article in the special town meeting, which was an increase of funds for the town hall park project.
I'm probably going to be late.
Okay.
I can't guarantee I'll be there on time.
I will be there. I'm planning on being there for the planning board, and I have to be there for the planning board, so I will be there.
Okay. Would you mind getting up and speaking to that if I'm not there yet?
We would have to have a discussion about that ahead of time. I'm not sure I have enough information to speak on it, but if you kind of filled me in beforehand, I possibly could do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the, and the rest of ours are kind of later, and they should be there around 7. I worry that I'm gonna be there, closer to 7:30, and that's a special town meeting. I imagine that's gonna come up first. And it's an increase of $20,000 for the town hall project, due to some recommended changes by the building department and additional, essentially, supply costs.
All right, Steve, would you mind just firing me
We
off
can-
an
we can-
email?
Yeah,
with-
absolutely.
With what you would basically say on it.
Yeah.
And I would do that. I mean, I would stand in if need be.
I appreciate that. Joe, are you planning on being there?
At some point, yes, but I don't think I should speak on that one.
Okay. Okay. Well, you, Pete, you planning on being there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. We do have a scheduled game in the stadium that night, but can probably, I'll make sure one of the other guys filling in or whatever. So I should be on. I'll be there.
All
I
right,
should
cool.
be on time.
All right, so we have a couple of backups there. That's good. Just I wanted to talk about it. Let me pull that up, just so we're all aware of the articles that we'll have to speak to. So this is a special town meeting. It's Article 5. It's a supplemental appropriation for the Town Hall Remembrance Park. And then we have that. We have our regular allocations. I'm happy to get up I should be there in time for that. But that's just our standard appropriations based on our anticipated revenue from the state and from the property tax bills. Standard 10% for the 3 buckets. Everything else is going. If there are any questions on it, really 10% is the minimum that we can. And this came up in Finance Committee, actually. They asked, oh, can we reduce what's going into the different buckets? And told them that no, 10% is the minimum for the state law. The next one is Article 11, Community Preservation Act for Affordable Housing. That's us at funding NeighborWorks LLC for the Copley Gardens project. And they're adding 10 affordable housing units. And then we have our last one, which is coming toward the end, which is the rail trail improvements. And that's so that we can finish the rail trail signalization project. Any comments on those?
No, I think it's pretty all self-explanatory, so,
And it puts us in a good position for next year too,
yeah.
with some funds available. All right. Invoice discussion. I have nothing new. Tom, do you have anything? I did check the mail yesterday. We didn't have any new invoices come through. Tom, do you have anything?
As far as I know, the people doing the GAR have been paid in full, so they're happy. The carpenter who's working on the tramp house has received funding for both her first 2 submitted invoices, so that's about halfway through. And other than that, I haven't seen any invoices sent to me to authorize and, for payment. So I think we're all caught up.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me too. I was going to ask you about GAR, so thank you for that. I'm glad those guys got their final disbursement. It's good to hear that the tramp house, I was down at Spring Street today. It looks like a little bit of activity over there.
Yeah, the outside's looking a lot better. I saw a picture. Still have to work on the inside, and the outside painting is going to probably have to be done by Historic Commission staff. So
Okay.
I'll take up one of my weekends.
Do we have to use lead paint to be period correct?
I know you want to be period appropriate, right? Get some lead paint chips flaking off for the Little League kids.
That's right. I hear they taste good.
Yeah, very sweet. Speaking of
Stop
which,
down, check-
the
oh, sorry.
when we had our historic commission meeting last night, I noticed the signs up for the Remembrance Park that said, brought to you by CPA. And I was wondering, is it possible to get a sign like that for both the GAR and the Tramp House?
So I was gonna bring that up and ask if anyone here knew how those got there.
Oh, 'cause I didn't know. I thought you guys did it.
No, I'm thinking the town or highway might have done some. I'm gonna reach out to Doug Lapp on that.
Okay.
To find out where those came from, because I think those signs should go in front of all of our projects if possible.
Yeah, the
Maybe not
nice
the GAR
signs.
hall, because, putting a sign on public property, but
I think that, Derek was instrumental and I talked about that once before. And I don't, we may have had those made up already and they just got put up, but yeah, I would recommend that they go
Okay.
on all of our projects as well.
yeah, it would be nice to put it maybe at the trailhead for the rail trail
Yeah,
on
Definitely.
on Market Street. Yeah, that would be good. We'll talk about it some more. I'll try to get some more information to find out where those came from. All right. There's the signs at Town Hall.
Back to the Tramp House for a second. Everyone should stop down and check it out. Very nice people working on it. And they're doing a lot of work and doing excellent work. They got the
Yeah,
roof
okay.
down, the porch roof done, and some new structure of the poles. And there's a person gonna come and lay brick down underneath the porch roof. It's looking nice.
Yeah, we're working on getting the roofer out there. The woman who's in charge of carpentry, Karen, she's a Rockland resident over on Exchange Street, and she's making sure it looks nice.
I'll have to swing by. I can't believe, it must have happened when I was away this week that they started.
At least it's not leaning to the right anymore.
All right. All right, if nothing else on that, we'll move on. Just an update on I know we requested an open space combined meeting. I talked to Don Khan about that. He said that they're bogged down with all the work they need to do to meet the requirements from the state to get the grant, and asked that we meet with them after June 1st. I know that's probably not what everyone wants to hear. But he was not willing to meet. They're just really under the gun to get that done. He is interested in meeting with us. He has some ideas he'd like to run by us for next year's funding. Forgive me, I'm moving seats as my children come to the table for dinner. So we did talk about our meeting in June, having that be combined with open space.
Will that be a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting?
So we can do that. Will probably be Zoom, unless anyone's really gung ho about meeting in person. I know that I don't think we would have had a meeting tonight if this wasn't on Zoom. I know I can hear Charlie's at the fire station, and it was the only way John was going to even be able to attempt making tonight. I know we can have Zoom meetings until mid-July. That's the state law right now. We can meet remotely through them. So without any objection, or if you guys really want to be in person, it would likely be a Zoom meeting until we're required to go back in person.
Depending on what the date is, I might be in Vermont in June. And that's why I was asking, because I've done it before. I've actually, attended the meeting on my iPhone successfully up there. So
yeah, I do like the convenience of it. There is actually an article, a petition article from a citizen to record and broadcast all town meetings via YouTube, and Zoom is really what allows us to do that. They do rebroadcast selectmen meetings, but really, that's the only room set up for it at town hall. Not sure if that one will pass, but it would be nice to see the state, continue to allow Zoom as an option going forward. It would be really nice. And even, having the ability to do hybrid meetings. I think be able to bring in the citizenry to meetings, and I think making it accessible is a positive thing. So we'll see where that goes. But for now, unless I hear otherwise from you guys, adamant about meeting in person, I'll make these Zoom meetings until we can't anymore.
Steve, I have a question.
Yep.
Do we have to post that we're meeting on town meeting night because the majority of our board is going to be there? But if we're not sitting together and discussing anything together, I think legally we're okay, right?
That's correct. We can't have discussion, essentially more than two people discussing any topic related to CPA at any time, really. We can talk about dates and agenda items, but we can't really go into them outside of posted meetings. So no, the fact that we're all going to be there, I mean, we're there as members of the town as a voting body.
Yeah, right.
Getting up to speak to articles as your, if you get up is initially, they'll ask for CPA to come up and speak to these articles. In that moment, you're representing CPA, and we're all authorized to do that as a part of this. But otherwise, we're there as just a member of the voting public.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I believe long as we don't make any votes, we can meet like that.
We can't, or discuss. We can't discuss anything either. And greater than 2.
Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure.
No, it's a good question. Meeting. All right, this one, I'm going to turn it over to Joe. He discovered that Cary Street property that I think folks have talked about from time and time again. Had a lot of stuff on it. Joe noticed a for sale sign and wanted to bring it to this meeting. So Joe, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm having a little audio problem, so bear with me. You guys is kicking out on me. Like Steve said, this property's been on the radar for a few years now. And I happened to go by and for sale signs on it. The house and barn has been ripped down. When I first inquired about it, I was told that it was in receivership and possibly issues on the property itself. Well, the issues weren't correct. So it was in receivership, and I stopped and talked to Doug. He wasn't negative or positive, in my opinion, of going forward. He had said that we had a lot on our plate now with Hassel Park, McCarthy Farm, and several other programs that we're trying to accomplish. So I took upon myself as a citizen to go find out what the land was worth, talk to the real estate company, and found out what the price tag was. You guys can do that. I don't want to advertise it on this meeting, but the number is very high for the 10 acres or 7 acres total. But the middle lot is under agreement right now. And the owner, he was going to talk to the owner of the property to see if we could possibly buy the lot that is connected to our property, town property. I'm not positive it's park controlled land. I believe it is, but I'm not positive. So it could be a great addition to the town to have this piece of property to be used later on down the road. Like everyone knows, property's hard to come by, and when you have an opportunity, my opinion, we should act on it. I did a little research. Girls softball is growing, and they kind of only have one field at this time and using Jefferson, but Jefferson's going to be torn down. So I did a little research. It takes an acre and a half to build the field, never mind the dugouts, parking area, and all that stuff. The parcel of land that the town owns, is 3.22, I believe it is. And the parcel of land that's up for sale is 55,000 square feet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. So I wanted to find out what everyone's thoughts are. Should we be tapping the brakes on buying property? What's everyone's thoughts? I'll open it up to the floor, Steve. Did I miss anything?
I think that's about all we know at this point.
So if I could say something on it, Steve?
Yep.
So the lot of lands that Joe was talking about that is under the town jurisdiction, I believe it's called Blaisdell Park. It's off in North Ave. It's that Pine Grove.
Yep.
It's a good chunk out there. That abuts right up to this lot of land. I mean, I think it would actually be, unlike McCarthy Farm, we could build a ball field on that area, and just giving everybody an idea of how much area it is. The stadium, the Veterans Stadium, is 3.1 acres, so we could definitely get a softball field along with parking in there if we did acquire this other land. I think that there might be an issue with some of the residents. I don't know how we would go about that, if we just go as taxpayers and knock on the door and just question them and see how they feel about it. And before we just, I agree with Joe, I think we should get it. But at the same time, I think without ruffling feathers, could we maybe approach some of the neighbors and say, you know, what do you think about it? Because we don't want to do a bunch of legwork and go through all the hoopla and then find out that they jump up on town floor as a neighborhood and say, no way. But that would be my only concern, but I don't see why they wouldn't want it, because if it's not that, what is it going to be turned into? Nothing that pleasant, you know. I'd rather see if I lived there, or if a ball field went near my house, I'd rather see a ball field as opposed to 100 other things.
Yeah.
I
That's just
clarify
Go for it.
something.
Go for it.
There's 3 lots, 2 single family dwellings and a duplex, I believe. So a total of 4 units on the 3 parcels. So if we bought one, it'd be only 3 houses, I believe.
Yeah, Joe, I think what you mentioned is that parcel of land, there's a draft plan that the developer wants to, or the realtor wants to split up into 3 parcels. Right now it's 1 parcel. In preparation for this, I actually did go on the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds to see if I could find any registered plans for this property. The property, based on Zoom, was sold in, I think, in July of 2021. And so I did a search of essentially all plans in Rockland from July 2021 to now, and there's nothing registered. So it's not an accepted plan yet. It's not registered with the county.
Yeah,
It is, but I'm not a realtor, and I'm not in that type of business.
Yeah, I mean, they have to post those things, and they're pretty quick about them. They usually only have like a month behind. So I mean, maybe it's been
Yeah,
approved in the last month.
this all happened last week, Steve.
Right. No, I mean, but their plan to
was
split
on
into
the
3
list.
parcels.
The drawings I don't know about. I imagine it already went through zoning, right?
I don't know. I mean, they would have to file the plan. If it got approved by zoning, it would have to, or planning, right, Charlie? You would have to go through planning, wouldn't it?
yeah, we have seen nothing on the property yet. My understanding is that it is gonna be divided into 3 parcels. But we've seen nothing at planning at this point.
There you go. Charlie,
Mhm.
are you familiar with the land?
I am familiar with it, both personally and, just being in town, but, I grew up in that, well, not far from there, so I am familiar with it. I did notice that they took the house down. And then I saw the for sale sign go up and I did some inquiring and found out that it was gonna be sold off as 3 parcels.
Well, that's interesting. So it sounds like they're in really the infancy of the development process.
Because
Well,
that,
But that might be
parcel's
enticing
already
too
on-
for them, for the other 2 lots.
because that'll have to go to zoning, I think, to be subdivided.
Mhm. And it's gonna be registered with the county. So it sounds like right now they're selling an idea.
They got a contract for one of the lots, what I understand.
No.
So somewhere, somehow, it's not being registered, or I don't know. I don't know the process.
Yeah.
So,
That wouldn't be unusual, though. If one party, if they have a purchase and
it
sales.
wouldn't be unusual.
No, it wouldn't, because what the person that's gonna buy it will then have to come and present plans to zoning and the planning board, I believe, on what they're gonna do with it. Maybe not if it's a residential or just strictly a one residential unit. But I think they just would have to, as long as it meets zoning, they'll go to the building department, pull a permit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think the issue will become when they try to develop the second property. Right. Anyone else have any thoughts?
I honestly don't know really much about it, so I'm just following you guys as best I can.
You got
I'm
any
always-
maps to show them, Steve?
I could pull it up on Google Maps for now. I did, like I said, I was hoping to pull it up from the registry of deeds to be able to have that, but let's go here.
This property that I'm talking about, the town owns behind where the house and barn was. We have a trailhead. If you
Yep.
follow the power lines all the way to Plain
Right there.
Street.
Power
And,
lines run right here.
okay, you got it up.
Yep.
We got a small parcel there that you can walk in on that side to get to wetland,
Right here.
the town's land.
Yeah, so the town right now owns these 2 properties. That's part of that grove. Here's the access. I think this is the easement for the power lines. Power lines run right here. If I switched over to satellite, you'll see it. You can see this here. And our access is right there as well. So the town owns this. This is the property itself. It's not this one, it's this one. I'm gonna go back to the property map lines. So this has been ripped down and they're breaking all of this down into 3 parcels. I agree. I think it's an awesome opportunity. We know that fields are in short supply. I hear about it all the time. My brother works with Rockland Youth Football a lot, and they're always struggling to find space. I know lacrosse is sometimes just finding a corner at Spring Street to practice. I was up at Spring Street today, grabbing equipment for Little League, and they had softball practicing up there. And they're scrambling all over to try to find space, and especially once the seasons really pick up, it's a battle. It's a battle to find space for all these leagues. So having more opportunity for play, if I lived in that neighborhood, I'd be chomping at the bit to have a park right there. We know Bicentennial is heavily used. It's not like you can go throw a ball out there. So to have another ball field in that area, I think would be huge. I mean, you used to have the oval, and you really could he'd go down and play in the Oval whenever there wasn't anything going on. He had 2 baseball fields there. And we don't really have that anymore anywhere, except for Spring Street.
That's kind of another bonus on top of this, where Bicentennial is located right there. We would have access through the power lines. Yeah, it's up a hill, but I mean, you know, down the road, that could all be cleaned up and you know, fixed up nice.
Mhm.
So we would have access through Bicentennial to it as well.
Yeah, you might, I mean, that runs through people's properties. So I mean, I don't know that we have an easement, power company has an easement, but I don't think the town does. But it really, I mean, it's right around the corner. It would make, I think, for Parks Department, maintenance easier because it's right there, right?
Yeah and no. I mean, we jump all over the town as it is, but
I know.
yeah, the more condensed in areas we've got, the easier and quicker it is.
And just one other note, Mr. Chairman. They're down to one softball field right now, and with the school project, they helped out a lot by with the school project, putting up lights so the youth groups can play at least 2 more games a day up there, one early evening and one starting at 7 o'clock and to 9 o'clock, something like that. So that's going to help out a little bit, but the league is growing. They're doing a great job getting more girls out to play, and they're getting larger numbers as baseball's declining, but hopefully that starts building up too.
Now Sandlot's a
So I
record year
just
for
wanted to
Sandlot,
put that on
Joe.
the record that, yeah.
You had 60 kids, 50 or 60 kids in Sandlot this year?
I'm not sure of the numbers.
No, that's what I heard today from, I was picking up equipment. I'm coaching Sandlot again this year.
Oh, good.
That I heard from one of the board members, Little League board, that it's one of the best years they've had in like 10 years for the Sandlot.
Very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That's better numbers than the rest of the Little League, isn't that, Steve?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, the parade was good. We had great turnout at the parade. You'd never know it. Softball, they only have 1 farm league team. I think they might have 2 minor teams. My daughter's playing her first year at softball this year, so it was interesting to hear
So
how they play. 'Cause
that's-
it's more of a travel league. But it's important because that's gonna grow. As more people play, it gets more, like, my daughter wanted to play because all her friends were playing. And the more people that play, it's gonna get more kids wanting to play. And it's great, but we need the space to do it. So I think this is a great opportunity.
Mr. Chairman, I believe this might be a little time sensitive. So
Mhm.
if we're interested in this, I think we need to act on it accordingly and maybe get a purchase and sale agreement written up with the stipulation of it passing through town meeting and whatever else has to be done to buy it.
Do we want to poll the
If-
neighbors first?
Pleasure of the board. I have my opinion on that. I'd rather listen to what everybody else has.
Is the price commensurate to McCarthy Farm? I know you don't want to mention exact numbers. I'm just curious.
The number has to be determined by
An appraisal.
being evaluated. Appraisals, thank you.
So that's the problem, Joe, is them partitioning the land isn't in a legal state yet. So we can't have an appraiser come out because deeds don't exist for those parcels.
Okay. And
As procedurally, what we need to do is we need to get an application, a pre-application and a full application before, and so we could vote on it. That has to happen, and then we could vote on it as an emergency opportunity. We've done it in the past. On that, then we could authorize assessors to go out or surveyors to go out to survey the land.
Well, this is the first everybody's hearing of it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe, I hate to table it to the next meeting, but I'd really like to know what people's thoughts are, go ahead, not to go ahead, you know, whatever. And give us some type of, input leeway of which way to go. If the board is not interested, then
We could do it. Yeah, let's do a non-binding vote here if folks are ready to go on it. And just, you know.
I wouldn't
express
take a
interest.
vote. I would just,
Well, it's
express it.
non-binding. It's not a motion. It's not anything. It's just a non-binding roll call.
At
Something we could
best,
do.
would be looking at a fall town meeting by the time anything would be ready anyway, Steve, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, there's no way we'd get anything for this town meeting, Joe, if that's where you're going with that.
no, I'm not, no.
And
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up, though.
No, I'm just making sure everybody realizes that you're not
Mhm.
talking about jumping it on this town meeting coming up in a few days.
No,
No.
no.
No, I think what Joe is saying is that we would need to put it in the purchase and sale, you know, dependent upon town meeting or special town meeting.
Right, well, as far as, not a vote or whatever you're calling it, you know, I stand on it. I think it's kind of a no-brainer again, depending on what the cost is gonna be and everything else, but I say we should definitely pursue it. That's my opinion.
Well, the appraisal is gonna be a high value piece of property. It's not, it's a buildable lot, so the valuation is gonna be higher than what we've paid for in the past. McCarthy's farm was 36 acres or 33 acres, and a lot of it was wetlands. So the actual property that could be built on, I'm not positive of the acreage, but this will be evaluated higher than Hartson Park parcel of land that we bought for 7 acres.
Right.
If that helps people.
But that's a whole property of 7 acres, isn't it? That's not subdivided.
Of Robin's property, I'm talking, I was
Oh,
using
the
for an
Robbins land,
example.
sorry.
He was comparing it.
So I'm pulling up the assessor's map.
No.
For those on here. So we can actually look at.
You can't go by the appraisal because it's only 205,000. You got
No,
three
for
parcels.
size. I was looking for size. It's town of Rockland. There's our other property, town of Rockland. So this is the property.
Oh, what land's selling for?
I was looking really more at the size of the land. So the acreage. So it's not. Now, I have to do some more investigating on the acreage, but it's. I don't think it's 7. I think it's probably closer to 4. Would you say this property we have here, Joe, is about 3.5?
That's 3.22.
3.22?
That's not counting the Pine Grove.
Oh,
From the
that's just the other property is 3 point. So it's probably similar. It's like 3 acres. Maybe a little more. Maybe 4.
The property you have the arrow on, that is 3.22. And the
Mhm.
other one, I forget, I want to say it was 5. The one that runs to North Ave.
Hmm.
But that has a lot of stipulations on what we can use it for. And that goes back to the early 70s into the 60s, or even later when the landowner donated that to the town. it only can be used as parks.
Yeah.
I don't know all the details on that. I've never been
Looks like
documented.
1917.
It was donated in 1917.
That's the last sale date. And then the other piece is 1972.
Yes, I believe that was taken by the town. I'm not positive, for back taxes or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I-
we have the gap. Excuse me?
Go ahead, Charlie.
No, I had a question for the parks people. Has there ever been like a study or determination on what we need for parks and what we'll need in the future?
No, I don't think we've ever had one. Pete might be able to answer that better.
We've never had a study on it, Charlie. But just with the growing town, I mean, just for a small example, I've been up at the parks for 37 plus years now. And, I mean, when I started, we didn't have lacrosse. We barely had girls softball at that point, and every sport was seasonal. You know, softball, baseball was in the spring, football, soccer was in the fall. Now, as everybody knows, every sport is every season, and it's insane how many fields, lack of fields that we have. I mean, most towns, a lot of towns anyway, that you go to, they've got overflow fields where they can even rest a field one season or one full year and do some TLC, more than TLC, and jumping back and forth. We don't even have anything close to that kind of luxury in our town. But I don't think a regular study has ever been done compared to population and what we're supposed to have. I'm sure if it was, would be way under.
Yeah, me too. I'm just wondering if there's anything like that, but
I know open space has a master use plan or master plan that did some looking into that. I think that's the closest thing we have to it. So it looks like it's about, that property's about 4 acres. The 48 Cary Street in total.
so which parcel is it that we're interested in again on Cary Street?
So it's 48 Cary Street. There's plans to, what Joe found out, there's plans to subdivide it
Yep, to 3.
to 3.
But did Joe say we own something on Cary Street or that abuts that? And oh, the Grove goes out from North Ave.
Right.
All right, so that green piece that right there, do we own that as well?
Yeah, we own both of these. So the Grove looks like conservation area,
Okay,
Major Reed Conservation.
yeah,
And then this is recreation. So that could be used for recreation, it would seem.
okay, so do we need to buy the entire lot? Or how do we know? We don't know how that's gonna be subdivided though.
Right, we need to find out how it's gonna be subdivided. And then go from there.
Okay. I mean,
But
I
Joe,
think,
I would say in the interim, continue to talk to that Realtor. And, start with a pre-app.
Oh, he was going to talk to the landowner to see, right where you have it now, what's that, 60 something, I can't see,
Yeah,
Right.
60.
60, that's an existing house.
Mhm.
Then you back down, come to the bottom there, that was the house and the barn that was torn down. And if
Mhm.
you run that all the way over to the green, this could be parking lot, and the ball field can be fit on our parcel of land. So it would be the houses across the street that would be affected, that homeowner and the people that bought the other 2 parcels, and everybody surrounding it, all the way to North Ave, Plain Street. Those neighbors will be affected somehow, some way. I don't think a softball game is played in 2 hours, Saturday and Sunday. I'm not positive they play.
Mhm.
So like you said, it's a no-brainer to me. It's another opportunity to utilize property that we can't utilize the way it stands. And if we buy this property, we can utilize it now. and become another field for the kids.
Right.
This is a win for the kids, not a win for the park department or anybody else. It's a win for the youth of Rockland and the future youth to have a place to play. That's my opinion. I don't know what else to say. I'm just finding stuff and bringing it to you guys and let you guys make a decision on taxpayers' money.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make the final decision on town floor. If they don't want it, it's dead on the vine and we move on.
Right.
I mean, I think it warrants some more looking into.
Like I said, I'm not one of these people to pressure anybody, but it's kind of time sensitive. You might have weeks, you might have months, and it could be a year before anybody buys the land. I'm not a genie. I can't predict the future, but it's kind of a time sensitive thing. My
I mean,
opinion.
I'll just add my 2 cents that I think that, and Pete, you may be able to confirm this, but there's a huge slab or a vein of granite that runs right through that property. And I'm just thinking from a development standpoint, I don't know that it's going to be pretty expensive for somebody when they have to remove all that ledge that's in there. So it may be whoever buys it may say, you know what, it might be easier for me just to sell it off and, you know, I'll look like a hero because I'm selling it to the town. And so I think it warrants some more looking into for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's right,
Absolutely. You know, sorry, I stepped on you, Pete.
That's okay. No, that's where I stand, exactly what Charlie just said.
Yeah, you definitely have to do research. I'm not saying jump right on it, but we have to kind of act, like I said, kind of quickly.
Mhm.
Next few months, 6 months before it is sold. That's all. You know, you still have to have a perk test done, I believe, if you sell a piece of land. Am I correct on that, Charlie?
I don't know. I would assume.
Because bicentennial is the beginning of the ledge, I believe.
It is.
And it goes farther up on the second to the last house on the left-hand side where the big giant rock is part of that person's lot.
Yeah, so I mean, you may get somebody that's interested in buying it and then they go and look at it and they say it's not worth it to do it because of the ledge. But
I imagine they've done the homework and they know it's buildable lots, or they wouldn't have subdivided it.
I don't know. The market's pretty crazy. People will do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so thank you for listening.
Yeah, I would say keep pursuing, Joe. And if you really want to pursue it, let's get a pre-app in for our next meeting. Because then we
It's
can take
not
a vote to move
that I
forward.
want to do it.
Well,
It's
someone's gonna
not that I
sponsor it.
want. Well, I'd like someone else to step up because I've sponsored a lot of the other ones, and I think it's time for other people to put their name on some stuff.
That's fair. And if I
No, I
felt
think
like I
me
was
and
gonna
Pete-
drop it on the floor, I'd do it.
You know, I'll
Is
keep running.
it one that should come from the town? Is it one that should come from Doug or the selectmen or something like that?
Oh, or the park department. I haven't even mentioned it to the rest of the board yet, because this all happened on Tuesday, I think it was, or Monday. We haven't had our park department meeting to bring it up. I think we spent enough time on this one, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep it on unless I hear, someone say, let's drop it. I'll leave it on for next agenda. We can keep the conversation going. Maybe get a couple more board members
Yeah,
input.
first
and
step, I'll bring it. First step, sorry. I'm having so much trouble with this connection. I'll bring it up to the Board of Park Commissioners and go from there. Maybe they'll sponsor. If not, someone, a citizen might do it. I've lost everybody.
No, you haven't. We got you. We got you. Sorry, I'm just taking
I have-
notes. All right. Moving on. All right, that pretty much brings us to the end. Anyone else have anything pressing that?
I do actually have something. I was hoping for the whole board, but we've had a little bit of a setback with King Philip. The guy that had bid it and the contract is awarded to, he's not going to be able to do it because of his health. So that was a big setback for that project. I have been in touch with another restorer who was kind of out of our area. That's why he didn't come up on the radar the first time. He's in Philadelphia, he's just outside of Philly, and works in Amish country, and has done similar projects. So he was interested. However, after talking with Doug, and he's going to, the reason I kind of hooked up with him or got his name was because the guy that was originally had awarded the contract, he has worked with him on other projects. So he was going to consult if it goes back out to bid and he was successfully awarded the bid, he would work with the previous bid winner to make sure that everything, they were kind of working on the same page. But unfortunately, the original bidder's health is going to not allow him to take this project on for us. So I've spoke to Doug about it, and the plan is that we are gonna have to put it back out to bid. Unfortunately,
That's tough.
yeah, it is tough. It's not the news I was hoping for. I was getting a little nervous when things had kind of slowed down and I wasn't hearing from him. So I've reached out multiple times, and it finally came out that his health was not going to allow him to do this project.
Hmm.
So like I said, I was talked to Doug, and we're pretty confident that, we can get it out to bid pretty quick. Get it back out to bid pretty quick. So I think that is the plan at this point going forward, is to go get that back out to bid. I have been temporarily assigned from working my days position to working a shift. So once I go back on days, I'll have a little bit more time to kind of focus on that. So I will be doing that. And very soon I'll be going back on days. So that is where we kind of stand with that. Not the news I was hoping for, but we just got to move forward. This is what happens with these things sometimes. I mean, this isn't like we're, putting out a modern day piece of equipment for rehab. I mean, this is something that was, 1800s, and it's tough to find people, the craftsmen that are left, that actually even do this anymore.
Hmm.
But I'm confident that if this new bidder was awarded, that he will be able to do it satisfactorily.
That's good.
So that's kind of where we stand.
Well, sorry for the setbacks on that, Charlie.
Yeah, yeah. I've taken it very personally because this project is real personal to me, so I've taken it pretty personally. And I'm trying to just keep my head up and move forward with it.
You can't help the situation, Charlie.
Yeah, no, I know, and I feel bad because, you know, the poor guy's health is deteriorating, probably from doing this for 40+ years. You know, working with all those lacquers and chemicals and all that,
Right.
so, you know, but we'll get there.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all I had.
Anyone else?
You want an update on Reed's Pond?
Sure.
It hasn't been good. I talked to the woman that's in charge, and she's been at the mercy of her lawyer. And supposedly he's got something finally together, and hopefully a lot of paperwork where she has control, where things weren't done properly all these years. So hopefully that's cleaned up. I talked to Doug last week through text, and I didn't know he was out of town. So he said he was going to get back to me this week. I haven't heard from him. It's been a tough road of trying to get this accomplished. I'm determined to get it done one way or another, but it's out of my hands. It's in the hands of the lawyers and Doug. I feel that it's kind of stalled because of possibility we could have the land free if we take over the cemetery. And the town doesn't want to be in the cemetery business. I understand that. But it's coming down the road that possibly another cemetery is going to be handing the keys to the town. I'm not positive on that, but rumor has it. And so that's where we're at with this piece of property. We still have the lease to 2035, I believe it is. But you don't want to put money into something that you don't own, my opinion.
Right.
So that's where we stand with Reed's Pond.
That's progress though.
What's the killer about this whole damn thing is you look in the old town report books or the books you can buy up at the clerk's office, and you see all the townspeople down there and the fountain going and the boats and everything else. It's like, well, how the hell did they get away with it and why can't we?
It's a different time, I guess, Pete.
Yeah, oh, I know that.
Hello. Okay.
All right, anyone else?
Just amazing. But
I'll sit here.
Motion to adjourn.
yeah, it's about to end. I know it's about to end.
Second.
I can't make the motion. When do you guys?
Oh,
have to
motion to adjourn
Thank you.
Motion.
and
Alright.
second.
All right. So, what was that, Charlie, for a second?
Yeah. Sorry, you probably heard that I was talking on the phone in my Zoom.
No, that's okay. That's why I kind of give it a little pause. Let you
Alright,
deal with that.
okay.
All right, all those in favor? Tom,
Aye.
Joe,
I
Sally,
Yes, I.
Pete,
I
and myself as an aye. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
All right. Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Good night.